Welcome to your meeting minute for the Budget Recommendation Committee's October 2nd meeting. After introductions from the 12-person committee, Chair Bob Kelly invited Town Manager Russ Dean to introduce the preliminary FY25 budget. Highlights included salary increases and a reclassification of several non-union personnel following a report from Keegan's and Associates. Health insurance increases of 10%, increased cost to blue bags and paving, and 2 new positions in the general fund, a full-time HR director and a part-time senior coordinator.
So the total preliminary budget is $23,887,679. That's $1,026,817 over FY24. As we know, the town operating budget funds all town departments, and police, fire, and DPW make up about 70% of that general fund budget. So that has been very steady and hasn't changed over several years.
The town manager also previewed warrant articles which require bonds.
The bond articles in the general fund, we have 4 that we're looking at right now. One is Pickpocket Dam removal, $2.1 million. That was a decision that was made earlier this year to recommend passing that along to the voters for a vote. So $2.1 million is the number that we're using for removal of Pickpocket Dam. Then the Linden Street Bridge repair project, which is in your CIP, that's $1.2579 million. The Linden Street Bridge was actually a project that was on the warrant a couple of years ago, but the scope changed precipitously once the engineering was done, and the project got quite a bit more expensive. And so the Department of Public Works is looking for that number. We're looking for that to properly fund that project.
Capital Improvement Program or CIP projects discussed included transfer station improvements, ADA Capital Reserve Fund, a Cester Centennial Fund, and a succession plan fund. The Budget Recommendations Committee, or BRC, is tasked with reviewing the operating budget and making recommendations to the Select Board each year. The BRC has several subcommittees that meet directly with the department heads and other town staff to review budgets line by line. Their findings and questions are discussed with the entire BRC at their meetings in the fall. During their televised meetings, town staff present budgets and projects proposed for the next financial year, giving the volunteer committee time to discuss and question funding requests, and giving the public a preview of what may appear on the town warrant at town meeting. At their first substantive meeting, the committee asked several questions of the management team.
What that strikes me is that there are 3 contracts at the same time. Is that, I mean, obviously that has a pretty significant budgetary impact. Is that always the case, or is that just a bad convergence of the timing of these contracts?
Just generally speaking, are there any committee recommendations on anything?
I felt like last year they said they were pretty well staffed and that finally filled their roster. So how did we end up with more overtime and planning for more overtime next year? Are we already looking towards needing more staff at the police department?
Residents will have a chance to voice their opinions on the town budget at the Select Board's bond and budget hearings, which typically take place in January. To follow along with the budget process and the BRC's discussions, watch meetings on Exeter TV or attend meetings live in the Novak Room. Meeting times and video links can be found on the town website, exeternh.gov/meetings. As always, you can watch the full meeting on Exeter TV.